Hello, my awesome artists. Today our focus is going to be Mr. Tiger Goes Wild by Peter Brown. Everyone was perfectly fine with the way things were. Everyone but Mr. Tiger. So as you look at these two pages, which one's Mr. Tiger? How did you know it was Mr. Tiger? Was it because Mr. Tiger has color on him? Was it because Mr. Tiger has typical tiger stripes? What's weird about these animals? Let's find out more. Mr. Tiger was bored with always being so proper. Good day, Mr. Tiger. Good day, Mr. Deer. Lovely weather we are having, I suppose. Indeed. Now, children, please do not act like wild animals. So, are these animals doing what animals normally do? How are these animals different from what the animals that we see at the zoo? Do all these animals live at the zoo normally? They're wearing clothes. He wanted to loosen up. He wanted to have fun. And he wanted to be wild. Right now, with everyone being in a quarantine, I bet we all want to just be a little bit wild and break free. And then one day, Mr. Tiger had a very, very wild idea. How are these four pictures different? Can you tell? Uh-oh. What's the difference between now and when we first saw Mr. Tiger? That's right, now he's on all fours. And a minute ago he was standing up straight. He felt better already. Now look at all the other animals. Look at how they're looking at him. And look at him. Look at how his face has changed. What's different about his face now versus on the first couple of pages? Look at all these people. Mr. Tiger became wilder and wilder each day. Roar! He's just going crazy. His friends did not know what to think. He is peculiar. Wow, this is unacceptable. He might need some new friends. And then Mr. Tiger went a little too far. Look what he did. Look at there. Oh my goodness. Look at that, boys and girls. He's naked! Now, tigers really be naked? Or is this how they normally are? What do we call that on his body? That's right, that's a pattern. And why do animals have patterns on their body? Because it's camouflage, and camouflage keeps them safe so they can either hunt and be a predator, or they can hide and be prey. His friends had lost their patience. Mr. Tiger, if you must act wild, kindly do so in the wilderness. What a magnificent idea. Uh-oh. Looks like he's gone. Notice how the colors are different on this page versus on this page. So Mr. Tiger ran away. Wouldn't it be nice right now if we all could leave the city and go to the country? Into the wilderness. Look at how pretty this picture is. Look at all the detail in that forest. And he went completely wild. Roar! There's little action scenes on the page showing how he is just now flat crazy. But Mr. Tiger was lonely. He missed his friends, he missed the city, and he missed his home. So Mr. Tiger decided to return. Look at his face now. Look at his friends' faces. They're happy to see him, aren't they? Look at how their faces have changed from the very beginning. And he found that things were beginning to change. Some people are walking up and down. Some people are walking. Some people are running. Some people have full clothes. Some people have, or animals in this case, have part clothes. Now Mr. Tiger felt free to be himself. Look at that shirt. It's like the wild outside, doesn't it? And so did everyone else. The end. So today, in our next video, I'm going to show you how to draw Mr. Tiger and put clothes on him. And then I'm also going to have a townhouse city drawing thing as well. So you'll have two different activities that you can draw and color and add to if you want to. So we're going to make art like Peter Brown did and let his artwork inspire us. But there's another artist, Henry Rousseau, that would make jungle artwork, and he would put tigers and other animals in his artwork that were from his imagination. He lived in France and he worked in a big park, and his job was to take the money and give people tickets for them to come to the park. But he made these exotic, huge paintings with wild animals in them. So we're going to kind of be like Henry Rousseau in our jungle animals today. So we're going to draw Mr. Wild, and then we'll add the jungle around him. We're going to start by going to the middle of our page, and we're going to draw a rectangle. I'm drawing with the Sharpie so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm drawing with a Sharpie. You can draw with a Sharpie, or you could draw with a pencil or a crayon or whatever you have in your house. So we've drawn a horizontal rectangle, and now I'm going to go straight up almost to the top of my page, and then I'm going to move over, and then I'm going to come down. So now I have a skinny rectangle with a fatter square on top. I like to put a ribbon on mine, so I'm going to put a ribbon across the hat. Now I'm going to draw his face, and his face is going to be just about the same size just down below it. So I'm going to come right where it was on both sides and make two vertical lines. I'm going to close my square with a horizontal line. So now if you're looking, I've got a skinny rectangle, and I've got a big square and a little square. So let's turn this square into his head. So to do that, we're going to start by putting a rectangle that's skinny in the middle, and it goes almost to the middle or past the middle on the page. Underneath of that, we're going to put a dot, and that dot's going to help us make an upside down triangle, or the letter V. So if you watch, we're going to go from here to there, and now we have the letter V. And he was so serious in the beginning of the book, so we're going to make him serious in this picture. So we're just going to make a straight line down, and then because, you know, I like whiskers, we're going to put whiskers. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, now we need eyes. You can make eyes any way you want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to make a line going this way, a line going this way. And he had circle eyes in the book, so I'm going to go ahead and give him circle eyes here. But I'm going to do mine just a little bit different. I'm going to do an upside down rainbow on both sides, or the letter U. And then inside of that, I'm going to put a football shape, so it looks like cat eyes. Now you could do circle eyes, you could do just a single circle, you could do oval eyes, you could do football, or under a rainbow on the bottom and a rainbow on top. It's up to you. So don't forget his eyebrow, just so he can have some personality. So now we have our hat, we have our cat, What's he missing? He needs ears, right? Let's give him some ears. So to do his ears, we're going to come right here, and we're going to put a circle, and then inside the circle, we're going to put another circle. And on the other side, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put a circle and another circle. See that? Now we're going to give him some arms, even though we know that most of the time he was running around wild. So first we're going to give him a neck. So we're going to come down. Let's add a little bit more like a rectangle. And then let's put a bow tie on there because he was so sophisticated. So we're going to put a circle in the middle. And then on this side, we're going to put a sideways V. And on the other side, we're going to put a sideways V. And then we'll connect the sides and we'll have a circle with 2 triangles to make our bow tie. We're going to give him his shoulders. Remember, shoulders should go off in the neck. So we're going to come right here and we're just going to go all the way to the edge of the page. Just like that. So Mr. Tiger now has a hat. And he's got his face. And he's got his chest. Let's put a suit coat on him. So we're going to start by coming right here and we're going to put a V. And then from our V, we're going to put a line straight down. Then right here, we're going to do something a little bit tricky. We're going to come out with a triangle and then back and down. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to go out. Let's see if I can do it twice. And there we go. Let's put some buttons. Now, in the book, they all were in black and white. But if you want to add patterns to your clothes, you know Miss Wren loves some patterns. If you want to add patterns to your clothes, you could add some patterns to your clothes. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to color the middle of this eye because it's just bothering me. And if you wanted yours to be a Mrs. Tiger, you can always change it and give her a floral hat, or you can give her some eyelashes. If you wanted to, you could just put a big bow on top of her head in between her ears. It does not have to look just like mine does. So I'm going to come right here right now, and I'm going to put a little curve here and a little curve here. So he's not as serious as he was before. Now if I look at this, I can tell, oh, it's an animal, but it kind of looks like it's a cat, but maybe I need to add something else to it. And if you recall, we talked about the fact that when he took all his clothes off of his body, he went naked because he had a pattern on. So let's put a pattern on our tiger. And to do it, it's real simple. We're just going to put triangles down the side. So I'm going to come right here, and I'm going to add some triangles on this side, and I'm going to add some triangles on this side, and then I can add some down here on the bottom of his head, and I can put them down the bridge of his nose. I'm going to rotate him on his bridge just because there's not a lot of room. So back and forth until we get to the very bottom. And then I can put them on his ears too. So let's put little triangles on his ears. So that way, if he really was in the wild, he could be camouflaged so he could hunt for some dinner time. So there is Mr. Tiger right there. Now if you want, you can stop it right here. Go ahead and just color it. Don't forget to do the background. Remember, we always draw big. We fill up the page. We color dark. We take our time. We draw it light till we get it right. We do our best, and we don't scribble. So if you want to leave it like this, that's fine. If all you have is a pencil or a pen, you're going to color it in with your pencil or pen, that's fine. You can color some parts light and some medium and some dark. If you have crayons, you can pull those out. If you have markers, you can color with markers or color pencils. If you don't have any paint, you want some, take a plastic lid, color in the plastic lid, put a little bit of water on it, and you've got paint. It won't be like the paint we use at school, but some paint's better than no paint. So there's Mr. Tiger. Well, I opened up my garage door, so you're going to hear outside and vehicles as they pass by. We're going to draw the townhouse. I've attempted 3 times and been interrupted 3 times, so hopefully this time will be best. I've gone to a smaller pen. It's a drawing pen, just so I can have smaller lines. This townhouse lesson, or Victorian house lesson, depending on how you look at it, is a really good lesson for 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade. Probably 2nd grade too if they're interested in drawing and they like putting in lots of details. I'll share the different components that you can add into yours in my drawing, and then you can mix them up in yours later. If we were at school, we'd use our roller book where I have all the examples laid out, but since we don't, and we're not, we'll use what I got. You can use a ruler or skip a ruler. It's up to you. I'm going to use a ruler for this lesson. If you don't have a ruler, you could use the size of a book or You could use the side of a magazine or something like that, but I'm going to use a ruler. So I'm going to start at the bottom of my page. Remember, we always draw our ground line first. I'm not worried about my lines matching up perfectly on both sides. I just want them to be straight. So I'm going to come down here at the bottom, and there's my ground line. I'm going to go up a little bit, and I'm going to draw a fence line right there. And then I'm going to come, I'm not going all the way to the top. I'm going to leave about a quarter of my page up there. I'm going to draw another line right there. That way I have space to add on to it up here if I want to. I'm going to make 4 different buildings. And I'm looking at my ruler. And I think if I use my ruler as a guide, it should work pretty good. So I'm going to start right here. If you have a typical regular yardstick, yours is a 1 inch, mine's 2 inches. So mine's going to be a little bit wider. I think it's 2 inches, yeah. So mine's going to be a little bit wider than yours might be. You might want to make your townhouses skinnier or wider. It's up to you. I also decided to make my paper vertical. You might want to make your paper horizontal. It's all purely choice. So I'm going to lay this right next to it. And then I'm going to move it over a little bit because I like to have a little bit of section in between my buildings when I'm drawing them. So there we go. Got a little bit of space. There's building 1. I'm going to lay it down, draw it again, move it over just a little bit, put the space in between. Now that one's a little bit wider. Is the world going to blow up? No, only if I tell them. I'm not telling anybody, so if you don't tell anybody, we're all good. And then here's my last one. I'm going to split it up a little bit. My last line right there. Now if I wanted to, I could, do, but I think there's a little bit of space. I could do another building going off the side of the page, but I'm going to keep it at just 4. So we're going to do different fences down here on the bottom. So we're going to start off with, on this one, we're just going to do vertical lines going up and down. So I'm going to start here. You can use your ruler or skip your ruler. It's up to you. I'm going to use my ruler. So going straight across, I make vertical lines. They're about the same distance. It's not perfect, but they're pretty close. So there's a basic fence right there. I'll move it over some more. And for this one right here, I'm going to repeat the same concept, but I'm going to make the top just a little bit fancier. So I do the vertical lines again. But this time at the top, I'm going to color in circles. Just make it a little bit fancier as I go across. Alright, for this one, I'm going to apply the same concepts that I have been doing, making my vertical lines straight up and down. Uh-oh. It'll be all right. The world will not blow up. And now I'm going to put 2 horizontal lines right here. And I'm going to move up. I'm going to put 2 horizontal lines right here. And on top of these, I'm going to put little triangles. I'm going to take my fat Sharpie and I'm going to color them in. Now, if all you have is a pencil or crayons or markers, draw with what you got. The most important thing is just to take the time and to draw. And then so I colored in the band, and now I'm going to color in the triangles. And if I wanted to, I can make the poles thicker like I did the insides. So I'm going to come in here and slowly with the Sharpie make the bars that are vertical thicker. So we have 3 different types of fences right there. So we have just basic vertical wood. Then we have metal bars. I can make these thicker if I wanted to. Put the circles on top. This one has vertical and horizontal lines, and it has triangles. And this one I'm going to do just a little bit different. So I'm going to start by doing 2 lines close together there, 2 lines close together there, and then add another one on top. So this time our fence is going horizontal instead of vertical, and I'm going to put some posts right in between them just by putting 2 parallel lines side by side, and on top I'm just putting a square. So remember, parallel means side by side, never crossing. So in this case, our parallel lines side by side, and they're just posts to hold up the horizontal in the middle. So there's 4 different types of fences, and I'm sure as creative as you all are that you've come up with your own as well. So you can use mine, or you can make your own fences. So that's the beginning to our townhouses right there. And if I wanted to color them in or put grass or other things, if I want to make them all the same, I can. I can make them all different. On this one, if I want to come in here and put a little peephole in different places, I can do that. I can make these thicker. I can do every other one. I can do twisted lines. But put a fence in front of each one because they're fancy. They're Victorian. So put them all together. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our doors. So we're going to assume that this is the beginning part and that there's steps. And you can't see the steps because the fence is in the front. And we're going to make our doors go a good ways up. So we're going to split these buildings into different sections because they're townhouses and we want to make them more interesting. So the first one I'm going to split in half. The second one I'm going to split in 2 sections. And then this one I'm going to leave alone. And I think in this one I'm going to just make a section way up here at the top. But I want my doors all to be about the same height because it's going to look weird if one door is real tall and one door is real short. So I'm going to come right here. My first door is, so this one's probably going to be our shortest. So I'll let this be our shortest door. So when I make a door, I'm going to make a rectangle. And then inside of that, I'm going to make another rectangle. And you could use your ruler the entire time, or just part of the time, or not at all. You don't have to use a ruler at all. So a door with a frame is always more interesting. And so there's my door. Here's my door handle. And let's put a mailbox slot right there. And then we're going to leave this section empty. Let's put a little peephole just in case we want to see who's coming. All right, so there's our first door. So my next door is going to be the same height. So I'm going to come over here. So there's my door, the outside of it. Let's go ahead and put the inside of it. And I'm going to split it in half. So there's 2 sections to this door. So we're going to put a handle here and a handle here. And then we're going to miter our corners by putting diagonal lines. So there's 2 doors. And then come right here, we'll do our next door. I'm going to go ahead and do the top of this one, and I'm going to do the top of the next door. Alright, and then I'm going to split this one, go ahead and put my frame on the inside. So this one, here's my door handle, and I'm going to put a triangle window in the middle. I'm going to put a frame inside of that window. I'm going to connect the edges. And then just leave it wide open. I could go ahead and put stained glass design in there, or I could leave it open. It's up to you. This last one I'm going to split in half. I'm going to put a door handle here and a door handle here. So this house has 2 doors to go into it. And on top of this one, I'm gonna put a square here for a window. I'm gonna put another one right here. I could put it on the bottom and that'd make it interesting as well, but I'm gonna put it on top. So now all of my buildings have doors. I need to decide next. I'm gonna go ahead and go on and do the top and decide what kind of roofs they want. So since this one has a triangle, I'm gonna put a triangle here for this roof. So I'm gonna, like that. And then I wanna make it interesting. So I'm gonna put stripes on it. Alright. And then this one here, I'm gonna go ahead and add squares on the windows. There we go. Just make it fancy. So this one, I'm gonna stack rectangles. So we already got this part. Let's go up and over and down, up and over. And you decide how high you want it to go. So this roof has stacked rectangles. This has a triangle. On this one here, let's curve in on both sides and then connect them. And if I wanted to put a chimney on there, I could put a chimney on there. And then my last one, I'm gonna put a half circle, kind of like the gold dome that we have in Georgia. So we got a half circle on top, and then we're gonna split it with curved lines here, here. And there we go. So we got 3 different types of rooftops. I like to give them a little bit more details. So that one's, and let's put some stripes on them. And then maybe I'll put stripes on this one. And like I said, if you wanted to add chimney to yours, you could add a chimney. If you wanted to add other designs on your roofs, you could. So there's my rooftops, there's the fences, there's the doors, and now we have these different sections. So on this one, my triangle section here, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put a series of triangle windows going all the way up. I like to repeat a shape to create more interest. They're not the most perfect triangles, but you get the idea. And then I'm going to miter my corners. These triangles are looking kind of lazy. I'm going to put a dot inside of each one and then split up the inside so that it can have colored stained glass in it. So that one's done. This one's got 2 sections to it. So across the top here, I'm going to put some simple columns. So the way I do that is I'm going to put a rectangle base. First I put a horizontal line, and then I'm going to put a rectangle base right here. And then right above it, I'm going to put another one. And then in between, I'll put a vertical rectangle. I'm going to do the next one. So go over a little bit. And then connect the 2 for my columns. So it's a rectangle base and a rectangle on top. And I just happen to put them there. You could put them here. You could put them along the same length. You decide. Use your creativity. Y'all are smart kids. And then what I'm going to do is inside of them is I'm going to put stripes just to create a little bit more interest. Alright, so there's one set of columns. Over here, I'm going to put fancier columns, I think. So I'm going to start with the square. I'm going to put my base first. Then we'll put this top one here. So we're going to put a square. And then another square. Connect them. And then inside my squares, I'm going to put a circle. And then this time I'm going to put stripes that are horizontal. I'm going to do one there, and I'm going to do one on the other side. So square on top, square on the bottom, circle in the middle, columns, horizontal stripes. Now I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to connect them in the middle and put a railing in the middle right there. So if someone wanted to come out on the balcony, they could come out on the balcony. This last one right here, I'm going to put columns going up the sides. I'm going to use my ruler because it's a long distance. So I'm going to just put them right here, straight up. There are 3 types of columns. There is Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian. Corinthian has leaves on them. Doric has the flat bottom. And Ionic is a mixture of the two. I believe it's a mixture of the two. But anyway, so there's my 2 columns here. And I'm going to put the same kind of 2 columns right here too. So there's 1. And there's 2. And then since these right here have horizontal stripes, I'm going to put horizontal on this one. I'm going to put horizontal on this one. And then inside right here, I'm going to put 2 windows. Just basic traditional windows. And then up here, I'm going to put some little windows. So the little windows have little frames around them. And then I'm just going to split them in 4. Whereas with these ones, I'm going to put the frame on the inside. And then I think I'm going to put curtains in the windows. And then this one right here, I think I'm going to have a rail go across the top. And then have the curtains kind of open, but not as much as the one above it. There we go. I almost forgot my frame around the outside. So I've got little square basic windows, and then I have fancier windows here. I have a door. So 2 middle buildings now are done. What kind of windows can I put over here? Let's see. Let's put a circle window right here on this one. And you could always trace a circle if you want, or you could freehand it. So I like to draw the circle window, and then I turn it into a pizza pie kind of concept. So it has all these stained glass accessories to it. So I need to decide, am I going to put a column on this one? Or since I got these basic columns here, I'm going to do anything else to the columns, or I'm going to leave them the way they are. I'm going to come down here and make another railing. And then I think I'm going to put some circle windows out here as well. Alright, so that means I have 1 building left. So on this last building, I got this whole section right here. I have circle windows, I have square windows, let's do a half. So we're going to do a line, we're going to put a dot, and we're going to curve to the dot, or close to it, and we're going to curve back down, we're going to curve up, curve back down, put a box underneath of it. You could fill it with flowers if you wanted to, or you could just split it in half like I'm going to. And there's your townhouses. Super, super simple. Don't make them real complicated, because you could be here forever if you do. But just basic townhouses. And then just go ahead and you can add bricks, you can add columns, you could add marble. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll color mine when I'm done so you can see what it looks like when it's finished.